What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Christian here again with another video, and as you know, Shallot has been announced for Sparking Zero, and this is my part 2 to that reaction, okay? Now at first, I was very underwhelmed by this reveal, but after reading some of y'all's comments, you guys made a good point that this sets a good precedent for more what-if characters potentially being added in the future, like Android 21, Xenoverse Trunks, and other video game characters like that. So that is definitely a good thing to come out of this, but this is my worry, guys. Spike has a nasty habit of releasing DLC characters that are borderline unusable or not viable in the game, okay? I have several videos talking about how no one is using Pansy, Glorio, Ku, the Gammas, and the list of characters goes on and on because they undercook their skill sets and they don't make sure that these characters are at least viable to play in the game. So a lot of these characters just go unused, okay? The DLC characters are never impactful enough to justify the cost of playing them, at least so far. So my worry when it comes to Shallot specifically is that this character is going to be more of the same, okay? Apparently this character in his game is able to copy skill sets from his teachers and other characters, so that in itself, I hear that and instantly I think that should be an easy home run for Spike and Bandai, but they just haven't shown me that they are creative enough with these skill sets to make the DLC characters impactful, okay? So obviously this character, if he can copy moves, should come with the option of changing out his moveset. He should be customizable, and before you call me crazy for saying that, there's already characters in the game that can do that. Android 18 and Daima Goku have 2 alternative movesets in the game. You just have to change your costume to pick between the movesets. So 100% this character needs to come out with that feature, not should, needs to come out with that feature, okay? If Shallot is released without any transformations at all, at the very least you should be able to select out a couple skill sets, a couple supers out, okay? And before you call me an ungrateful hater, rage baiter, okay, they've already showed that they're reusing assets to make this character, so it wouldn't be a big leap to assume that they could just reuse assets to provide multiple movesets for this character so that you could actually customize the character similar to what you see in Dragon Ball Legends. And honestly, I don't even mind that they're reusing assets, but at the very least, do something creative with it, okay? 100% the customizable character from Dragon Ball Legends should be the most customizable character in Sparking Zero. And if they don't add that feature to this character, this will just become another Majin Ku situation. Because more than likely, Shallot is going to be added to the 5 DP tier, and guys, if you don't play this game anymore, let me tell you, the 5 DP tier is completely stacked, okay? He's basically competing with the best characters in the game value-wise, the Brolys, Android 13, Android 16, super version of Goku and Vegeta, and even Melee Trunks, who has a lot of defense and is very viable in that tier. So adding a generic half-ass put together Saiyan who can't transform is just not gonna cut it, guys. Like, they really need to come correct with this character. And no matter how many fans want this character to be in the game and how hype he is, if the character is not viable, if he's not good, if he's not fun to play, then this character will just not see use after a week of play, okay? And making people pay for a badly constructed character that is unviable, in my opinion, is just not acceptable from a developer, okay? And so they really need to come correct, like I said, and add some creative options to this character. If not, I will be calling them out. This is not a rage bait channel, but I just call it how I see it. But we'll see when the character comes out. I will be reviewing his skill set and see if they did a good job and see what they could have done different. I got several videos on my channel doing that for the other DLC characters, so if you want to go check those out so that you can better understand my philosophy when it comes to DLC characters, go ahead and check those out. They're on my channel. But basically, I'm gonna just give you a synopsis. Basically, I just really feel like when Bandai drops DLC characters, they have a responsibility to make these characters at least somewhat viable, because people are paying money to play these characters, okay? So they really should make sure that these characters are playable alongside the cast that's already there. And when they don't do that, they're really just scamming you for money, guys. Now, one of the major reasons DLC characters fall flat is because they don't combine useful effects in those skill abilities. Ironically, the characters that have the best abilities in the game are usually characters that have been there from the start, like Bardock with Shockwave of Rebellion, SS4 Goku with Beat You in 5 seconds, and Gotenks High Tension that basically refills his whole key bar. And I've been calling for DLC characters to come with creative skill moves such as this for months, but usually they just add a generic Wild Sense and Insta Spark and call it a day, or waste a slot on a generic buff that doesn't do much. But in the case of Shallot, I would be satisfied if you just give him 3 alternative movesets, okay? Maybe one would have Explosive Wave, another with full power, and maybe a third with a Wild Sense or a False Courage. And just allow him to change his rush move according to the costume, maybe to Goku's or Vegeta's, and just call it a day. And even then, I'm not sure he'll see any play after a while, because like I said, that 5 DP tier list is just insane right now. Like, Android 13 is just basically the most broken character in the game at this moment, and he's in the 5 DP tier. So honestly, I don't think Shallot stands a chance against all the powerful androids in that tier, so he might not see play even with these skill abilities being added, okay? Another thing that holds back certain characters, DLC characters, is stats, okay? For example, Majin Ku, he just takes a bunch of damage and doesn't do a lot of damage himself. And then he has to compete with Android 16, who basically regens ki, has a shitload of defense, and hits like a truck. So a lot of things in this game are just unbalanced, guys. And it's not me rage baiting or you know, just complaining for the sake of complaining. It's just balance issues in this game that devs just didn't take care of before they released this game. And you know, they've been changing the game a lot, but a lot of stuff is still unbalanced to this day, okay? I don't know why Majin Ku, for example, was included in the 5 DP tier when he's so weak, guys. Like, he doesn't see any play, and I don't see that changing in the near future. And I just don't want that to happen to Shallot if he's a beloved character, like you guys mentioned in my last video, okay? I want you guys to get justice for Shallot. I want him to be a good character, and you know, and that's why I wanted to make this video, just to set the expectation that we should be expecting Shallot to be a good character, a viable character, not just a throwaway 5 DP character that's not going to see play after a week, okay? And if you guys like that, go ahead and like and sub and join the channel, because I will be reviewing his moveset when he comes out. And I'll see you on that video. Peace out.